Hello, everyone. Um, my name is Ryan, people probably know me more on the Lucian HorrorCon Discord server as electricrancid. Um, I'd like to thank everyone for kind of joining us here on this kind of inaugural 2024 streaming project that I have up and trying to get going. The idea is to have this running on a bi-weekly basis on Sundays. We're going to have different stories from different systems. Uh, Tonight, we had the special pleasure of one of the Illusion Con's indie RPG supporters, Phzoul. He's based out of the east coast of Canada. He is here to uh, run uh, an actual play inspired by the John Carpenter movie The Thing. Tonight's actual play is called The Things, and we are happy to have you all here tonight. Um, Hopefully, this is meant to be the format of these, or for at least for this one starting out. This is going to be our inaugural stream. This is going to be part one. It's going to run for about a couple hours tonight. And we'll have part two, the finale. That will be in 2 weeks, same time on May 26th. And before we get going here and introduced our lovely GM tonight, Phzoul, and the rest of the supporting cast members, I'd just like to just thank everyone. It's been a crazy kind of just over 3 years now. This Illusion Horror Con project was kind of built out of just a three people who met during the pandemic, me, David, and Crystal, Bitberg Chef, and the Little Scientist. We wanted to take our love for horror and just create an online community where we could foster our love for the various horror genres, especially cult. That's the kind of main focus of the Illusion Horror Con, but we're inclusive, and we any kind of horror based system, whether it's sci-fi, modern day, classic era, 1920s, and all those kind of other whatever GMs want to run, we are completely open. And when we have a thriving Discord community, we have over 700, close to about 700 members now, which is just mind blowing. Appreciate everyone, especially the GMs who have kind of supported us from year after year when this con has come up. This year, it's in the first weekend in December. Take a look out for that and more kind of special projects along the way. We're planning in the background. And if you ever want to reach out to us, we're pretty much on all the socials. Our main one being Discord, is where you get all the news. But we also support on Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky Social, and Instagram. And I think that's pretty much it. I will be streaming for those watching tonight. Thank you. This will be live on Twitch as it is now, but the plan is a week after the stream has aired, I will upload to YouTube for those people who have not been able to join us just due to other commitments and life happenings, as life does happen. And without further ado, I'm going to go silent, and I will bring on our GM of the evening, and he will give a description of himself and who he is and what tonight's all about. And once again, glad everyone is with us. And here is Phzoul.
Thanks, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been a few years since I've been on a live stream, so I'm really excited. As Ryan mentioned, I'm the author of the one-shot RPG system, and I'm just excited to dive into it. So I'm good to hand it over to player number one.
Excellent. And so let's meet our cast of the evening. You might have seen him on the Illusion Horror Con Discord server. His Discord handle is Cameron or Dumble Dad. Here's Cameron.
Hey, I'm Cameron. I've been on the server, I guess, for about a year and a half, and been on a couple of Crystal streams last year, and looking forward to this one.
Nice. And next is you'll kind of her. She has a few games running on the server now, mainly Delta Green. I'd like to welcome Perry to the stream.
Hi, Barry or Peregrine. Also been on the server for about a year and a half too, and yeah.
Cool, nice. And finally, newcomer to streaming. We're all fairly new in our streaming careers. Let's see how far they go. But yeah, this is a Yarnage or another Ryan.
Good day. I am Ryan, or as I'm on the Discord, Yarnage. I'm not sure how long I've been on Discord for, probably a year or two now, although I'm not super active on it. I mainly play Dungeons and Dragons myself. I'm typically a DM. I've been a DM for hire for a few years now, but I'm excited to be a player, and I'm excited to try this new system.
And we already have some comments coming in. It's always nice having a Ryan. We have a Ryan too, and looks like we have some Perry and Cameron fans already out there. But before tonight gets going, I just want to bring attention to the things. It is a horror scenario, and before any kind of streaming or anything that happens, anything presented by the Illusion Horror and Con, content warnings. So you'll see them you'll see them pop up there on the bottom. This one features isolation, violence themes. I can never say this word. Dystopian sci-fi themes, body horror, and occasional swearing, and is meant for ages 18 and above. If any of these themes are a trigger, please, we suggest maybe skip this actual play and catch the next one. We want everyone to enjoy this as entertainment, but we don't want anyone who might be triggered by one of these content warnings to not enjoy. Safety first. That'll come up a few times just to remind everyone in case someone drops in every little bit. But yep, these are the ones for the thing's actual play. And I think if everyone's ready to go, Dave, take us away in the things.
The Things is an unaffiliated fan production based on the movie by John Carpenter and the novel Who Goes There by John W. Campbell. It is the far future. Humanity has stitched together colonies and way stations across dozens of stars. At the edge of our reach lies the planet Caribus. Its rocky surface is scarred with chasms hundreds and even thousands of miles long. Cradle in one of them is your destination, the Caribus mining facility. Its reason for existence is aurorium, a rare element essential to the function of FTL drives. After a month in hypersleep aboard the CMV Edward Drake, you have arrived at this paradox of isolation and ambition. A posting here requires a minimum 3-year commitment. While it offers few comforts and its remoteness will test your will, there are additional dangers. There is political strife between Earth and the colonies. Intelligence reports that sleeper agents, loyal to colonial freedom, may try to sabotage the facility. Cutting off aurorium would isolate Earth. To make matters worse, Caribus is home to a research lab that has been repurposed to study a previously unknown alien species, a thing that can mimic whatever organic material it absorbs. Your mission is to keep the aurorium flowing and ensure colonial sympathizers don't compromise the research. The thing has the potential to revolutionize our understanding of life itself. So our adventure begins with your characters descending towards the station on a landing ship. As it comes into view, We'll go around and we'll have each of you introduce your characters, and to give a little flavor, let us know what they're thinking as they approach what's to be their new home for the next 3 years. So we'll go in the same intro order. So, Cameron, over to you.
Yeah, I'm still getting over the sleepiness out of coming out of hibernation during the month-long flight. But I guess I'm looking forward to getting down to this this scrap heap down below. It's supposed to be retired, but the new XO Alex, who's sitting across from me, he asked me to come join him. I guess there was something about the old head of security, being drunk on the job or something. Not that I'm not known to also have a sip now and then, but won't tell anybody about that. They say this is an isolated place, but I mean, I like to keep to myself. San Fran was a little too busy for my liking, to be honest. But I believe in loyalty. I mean, Alex here is quite a smart man, and on a past posting, we saw some shit together, and he helped me out of a tough time. So, and yeah, these colonial sympathizers, I don't know what to make of them. They just causing trouble. I've also got one of the diggers across from me, Clyde, I think he said his name was. Certainly have respect for them, but and yeah, this Dr. Bell has been going on about the science research. I don't understand any of that crap. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going through my head.
Sorry. Perry, over to you.
Dr. Bell wakes up from cryosleep slowly, immediately goes for the coffee, try to shake off the last jags of that month-long nap. But in truth, he is a little bit excited despite himself. This is a brand new place. He's a xenobiologist, so the chance to study whatever's in that station is fascinating. He loves discovering new things. So, and out here nobody you can work out in peace. Just focus on his research.
Thought you were going to say out here nobody can hear you scream, which is going to be very.
No.
Okay, Yarnage.
So as Alex is approaching the station, I mean, the main thing on his mind is that he sees this as his duty. In his opinion, the greatest goal for the human race will be to become an interstellar species and to further their reach throughout the cosmos. Essentially, and not having all your eggs in one basket. In order to ensure the survival of humanity, to ensure that there cannot be some common mode failure amongst our species, we need to go to the stars. And in this case, the linchpin in all of this is the minerals that are being mined here, the aurorium. So while the pay for being an XO at one of these stations is probably not too bad, given the extra pay for being sent away from the planet. His main goal through all of this is to ensure that the aurorium can continue to flow, and that any retractive elements that might be here, colonial freedom fighters or the like, don't jeopardize the flow of this important resource.
Thank you. Ryan?
Yeah, nice to meet you all. Or at least that's what I would like to say, but I'm a quiet kind of guy. We've been in, live in space, work in space, but I hate the thought of just being asleep and just traveling and not knowing what the hell's going on. You could wake up, you might not even wake up. But I get really nervous during before I know the flight's going to happen, and just the thought of not waking up really gets to me. But I don't travel too much or try not to, but uh, there's been a little bit of I know there's some stability coming for me. I'm a digger by trade. Looking forward to making roots, making roots on a rock. Um, yeah, no, that that doesn't usually sit well, but yeah, just I'm hoping this place will be stable. I'm tired of jumping from place to place. It's yeah, it's just not the life I want. But hopefully, like I said, put down something here, start something. But yeah,
So the shuttle comes in for a landing at the station. You hear the pilot, the flight officer who you had met earlier, Carmen Perez. You hear her over the comms, where she's basically, this is your pilot, Perez. To all passengers, we're on solid ground. Welcome to your new home. If any of you change your mind, the Drake leaves in a week. Good luck. And you can feel the ship power down, and you can grab. So you probably have you might have some carry on, but your luggage people will take care of that. That will find its way to your quarters. But if you have any personal items that you carry, you can grab that out of the bin and walk down the ramp uh, uh, to your new home. It's gritty. I mean, those of you who have been in a mining facility before, you can smell the metal, the grease. This is a place of hard work. It's not the pristine hallways and corridors that you might find at a Earthside space facility. And as you step off the ship, you will note that there are people there to meet you. We will. So our new XO, Alexander Marshall. You see a woman step forward. She's not holding a sign, but she immediately, you make eye contact with her, and she steps immediately. Steps up to you, and she gives a bit of a salute. Now, this is kind of a pseudo military. It's not really military, but you are her new commanding officer. And she's like, "Welcome aboard, Commander. Connie Sterling. I'll be your number 2."
I'll nod back and say, hello, Officer Sterling. It's a pleasure to meet you. How long have you been operating on the station?
She'll actually pause when you say that, and she's like, "I've been here a while, sir. If you'll come with me, the director wants me to escort you to the command center." And she whips around, and you don't need to make a roll to pick up on the cues, but you can. But if you felt like that was a cold shoulder, you wouldn't be wrong. It definitely came across that she wasn't interested in small talk.
And just from kind of an initial glance, given kind of the military nature of this, do I get the impression that she's I guess up to code, up to standard kind of deal? Like, is the shirt wrinkle free? Is it?
So, are you the type of person that you would have reviewed station personnel before coming here?
Most likely, yes.
Yes. So you know that she was basically in competition for your position. She was one of the candidates. So she's been here for quite a while. So perhaps that's why you're sensing a little bit of distance from her.
Makes sense.
So she's already walking towards the elevator.
Right, yeah, I'll follow.
You can follow. You can get in. And it's just the two of you. The elevator. It's like, again, it's not one of those Star Trek elevators where you don't hear it. It's like, before it starts to move, you hear something, kind of a gear shift or something, and it lurches for a bit and then starts to ascend to the upper levels. And there's an awkward silence. Do you break it, or do you
I know I'll
do you
remain
just
silent. I'm comfortable with
okay?
silences.
Okay. It reaches the command deck. The door opens, and well, just before the door opens, she reaches out and she hits the stop button, keeping the door closed. And she just kind of, gives you a look, and she's like, "May I speak off the record, sir?"
Of course.
I need you to know that I will do my duty 100%. You don't have to question that. But I was never given a good explanation for why I was passed over. I mean, I've dedicated my life to this job, and nobody, not even the old man, knows this station better than I do. I just don't understand why they picked you over me. Was it because I was born in the colonies?
And would I have any insight as to is that a legitimate reason why she might have been passed over?
Sure. Let's say that one of the decision makers, after you got the job, would have shaken your hand and said, "At least you're Earthborn," type thing. So you figured that might actually be one of the reasons.
Fair enough. I'll say, uh, look, I can't say whether or not I can't give any insight to the exact machinations of how these things are chosen, but rest assured, under my command here, that the rank promotions and the like will be blind to one's birth and upbringing. It's the goal of this facility is to ensure the continued production of our resources, and I'm going to ensure that there will be no bias amongst those that work under, or those who work under me.
He's desperately searching your eyes to kind of get a measure of you, to see whether or not what you're saying are just words or whether you mean it. Do you have any feats or skills that would come into play in this moment that you could make the first roll of the night?
All right, I have one that I have one that is persuade them to see things my way.
Okay. So you
Right.
can make a roll. For the viewers, essentially, skills in this game are character defined. So they actually write down things that they are good at, and they just come up with it on their own. And it's really up to them to kind of figure out how to apply it in the situation. So you can roll on Roll20, or you can roll in real life with real dice. So you're going to roll die percent, and you want to roll equal to or less than the percentage associated with that description.
All right, the numbers I have for that are 25 and 75.
And if you get less than 25, that's actually equivalent of a critical. So you really want to earn her trust. You can do that. Okay, so I see you rolled an 84. So you see the skepticism. She just doesn't, she thinks you're just basically handing her the company line, so to speak. I will throw out this, and it's up to you to determine how important this relationship is. All characters have luck dice. So luck die or die 6, you have a finite number. You actually have 3. Essentially, when you fail a roll, you can roll a luck die, and it's a die 6, and you will succeed if you roll a 2 to 5. However, if you roll a 1, you can't push your luck too far, and you can get bad luck. If you roll a 1, that's basically the equivalent of a critical failure. So would you like to, is this relationship important enough that you want to push your luck?
And so sorry, with the pushing your luck, is that do I have a finite amount of uses of
You
that?
do. You have 3 points. Yeah.
No, I won't bother with that for this.
Okay. So you figure, okay, she's obviously upset that you got the job, and your words didn't seem to really ease her concerns.
That's fair.
As you step out of the elevator, we will switch. Back to the hangar deck. So Cameron, or shall we say Harrison Harry McAllister, two people approach. They are in uniforms, security uniforms. So you obviously recognize, you realize, okay, these people are here for me. The gentleman walks forward. You probably know from the personnel files that this is Earl Foster. He's the guy that you're replacing. He walks up. He kind of takes a look at you. You do smell a bit of alcohol on his breath, but he just says, "You're McAllister."
So as soon as I step off the ramp, I immediately produce a cigar and spark my lighter and start lighting it. And I don't actually speak a word until I've got it good and going. I
Okay.
kinda take my
Several people standing near, several like technicians and flight staff standing near no smoking signs. They kind of immediately take steps towards you, and then they kind of really take a look at you, and then they think better of it and just go back to the tasks at hand.
I can roll if necessary.
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
Nope. Foster actually, he had a hard look. It actually softens a bit, and he smiles. He's like, so the memo from ICC says the official handoff isn't until the end of the week. But I don't see any need to wait. Brielle here, she's been number 2 and a damn good officer. She can show you ropes, and he'll actually take his gun out, his badge, and his office key pass, and he kind of hands it to you. He goes, "You seem all right, McAllister, but you can tell those bureaucrats you work for that they can stick this job up their ass. If you need me, I'm going to be in the bar having a drink." And he'll just
laugh out loud at that, and I say I might just join you later after my shift. And I wipe my hand off on my pants and hold it out to shake their hands.
You know what? He will actually, no role required here. Your behavior speaks louder. I mean, he actually takes another look at you, and he'll step forward and he'll shake your hand, and he goes, "I'll save you a seat." And he'll turn and walk away, but he'll pause and take another look back. And again, you realize that you probably weren't what he was expecting, and you can tell that he approves. Brielle kind of clears her throat, and she's like, "Sorry, sir. He's a good cop."
Yeah, he seems like a good type. And how long have you been here on this?
A few years, sir. I'm still relatively new, but I know my way around, and the diggers respect me. So if you want, sir, I could bring you to the security office.
Yeah, sure. You might as well get started, I guess.
So she looks. You can tell she's looking from you. Her eyes are going from you to the cigar, you to the cigar, but she doesn't say anything. And as she's walking along, she's like, "He has a right to be angry, you know. They another year and he would have got a full pension, and they pulled this."
Well, look, let me talk to Alex, the new XO, once he's settled, and see what we can do about that.
Well, and she completely shifts. She'll actually stop. She goes, "Seriously? Why would you do that? I mean, he's kind of on corporate shit list."
Well, look, I'm supposed to be retired, so I certainly don't want to see a guy not getting his pension. What did he do anyway? Why is he on the shit list?
Um, hmm, uh, uh, drunk one too many times, sir.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, he's a good cop, but he does have a problem.
Well, I mean, nothing bad happened, did it? Other than
No, 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 no. I don't want to say. I'd rather not say, sir, but there's been some tension around here lately, Earth colony tension, and well, yeah, Foster was born in the colonies, sir.
Hmm.
That I don't want to think it, but that probably had something to do with it. If you can follow me, I'll the security office is right this way.
I just ponder to myself and follow Brielle.
And she'll escort you off into the station, into the depths of the station towards the security office, and we'll switch to Dr. William Bell. So a woman, a young woman will show up. She seems really eager. So as soon as you step forward, she's like, Dr. Bell, Dr. William Bell. Hi, I'm Mia. I'm the research second on the laboratory. It's a really honor to meet you. I mean, I read your last paper. I mean, I couldn't sleep that night. It was so exciting. Uh, anyway, it's an honor. And she kind of holds out her hand awkwardly.
Yeah. He'll shake it. Yes. That is my name. Thank you. That was one of my favorites to work on.
So, what a curiosity! What would that paper have been about?
I think probably about some strand of bacteria that breaks down. Maybe this still breaks down a form of pollution. Maybe like plastic of a new form of bacteria that eats plastic.
Oh, wow, that's cool. So she'll actually be quite excited about that. And she's like, well, listen, and she'll just go. She kind of goes on, and you don't really get a word in edgewise. She is leading you off in a direction. You're not quite sure where she's taking you because she never said. But she's just kind of walking and talking at the same time. She's very enthusiastic. How does how does that sit with Dr. Bell?
I think he's a little bit bewildered. I think he's still half asleep. So, and then she had his coffee, walked off the ship, and then immediately someone started talking at him. So he's just kind of smiling and nodding, not only kind of paying attention.
Okay. So she will bring you to equivalent of your quarters. And she's like, so listen, if you want to get settled, and then I'll come back in a little bit. She kind of goes on for about 10 minutes of washrooms are down there. You can grab the messes down there. She just kind of goes on for a bit longer than you feel is necessary. You get it. And she goes, and then I'll come back and I'll bring you on a tour of the lab. Do you need anything else?
He perks up a bit at the end to mention the lab, like, no, I think I'll just get settled here, and absolutely, I would love a tour of the lab.
Okay, well, whenever. I mean, I don't know how long you want, but I'm anxious for you to meet her. Listen.
He throws more than puts his bag on the bed and says, "I'm ready now."
Okay.
Do all that. I can do all that later.
I know you're here to be objective, and I welcome that. I mean, I need it. I mean, Dr. Sinclair and myself. I mean, we both knew Emma. Well, I mean, she's his wife. So I know you have to be objective, but I think we should treat her like she's human. I mean, she was. I mean, she is a brilliant mind and a great mentor. I thought, and you can actually see tears starting to well in her eyes. So how does Dr. Bell react to that?
Like, very awkwardly puts his hand on her shoulder and says,
She goes, I'm sorry. I'm
do
sorry.
apologize. I'm not sorry you were put in this position. You two were definitely too close to this case. I will do my best. Part of my research is to determine whether this genuinely is a sentient, fully cognizant life form. And if
I mean,
do you seriously believe? Do you act according to your observations, regardless of your own personal bias? If you could put aside your personal biases for a second, I understand it's difficult. Do you truly believe she's still in there?
yeah, I guess maybe I'm questioning it, but I mean, we laugh about old times. She remembered my birthday. Isn't that enough to be called human, Doctor?
Numbers are any a calculator can, an abacus can do numbers.
I'm not talking about numbers. I'm talking about sharing, laughing. I don't know. I think you'll have to make up your own mind. To me, she's still Emma. She'll say, kind of with certainty.
Well, that's something we will have to determine.
And she'll, so without waiting, she will lead you off. So we'll get to our digger. So the first thing that happens when you get off is there's a safety kind of officer there, and they kind of direct you. So only you to a terminal, Clyde, where basically they kind of have a clipboard of sorts, and they're like, all right, it's as a part of the contract and FCC part of it, you have to watch a couple of safety videos ahead of time, and they just kind of direct you to a terminal. And as they do, this gentleman walks up, and he smells of the mines, right? He's a hard working man. You can see the calluses on his hands, and he's like, if you're a digger, you know who you are. You don't need any company bullshit videos. It's your crew that keeps you alive. What's your name? You must be Hofstaff.
Yeah, call me Hoff. I don't like my name.
Well, come with me, Hoff. I'll show you around. Name's Donovan, by the way. Colony born and proud of it. Do you have any reaction when he says that?
Just kind of give him just a quick glance, just trying to read him to see if bouncing around back and forth between between jobs. I've gotten this thing of not trusting anyone, especially somebody I haven't really met yet. So I just kind of do that like a fake laugh, like yeah, nice man.
He actually is going to take a measure of you. And by that I mean, there's experienced diggers, and then there's people who are green. So, he's looking at your hands. He's looking at the way you conduct yourself. So do you have any? So for one, if you are 100%, if you have a lot of experience as a digger, you do not have to make a roll. However, if you want to kind of present yourself as being more experienced than you actually are, then do you have any feat or skill that would be appropriate?
Yeah, it's actually my first skill, since I like to make as much coin as I can. So one of my top skill is just try to present myself as knowing more than I actually do. So it's skill is I'm a digger. No, really, I am a digger. So
Oh, that sounds appropriate in this situation. So give me a roll, please. And don't forget, if you roll less than your bonus, that's a critical.
okay, and it's a roll under D.
Yeah,
it-
roll under,
okay.
equal to or under. Yep, D%.
All right, I'm just gonna roll physical dice if you don't mind.
Yep, no worries. Yep.
32. Not under bonus,
Close
but
though.
close though. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, so he gives you a once over, and he's satisfied with what he sees. He goes, "Well, I don't have to tell you. The first shift comes quick, and it's always the longest. So why don't I introduce you to some of the crew, and you can grab
Yeah.
some chow, find yourself a rack."
Yeah, that'd be good.
Uh,
That'd be great. Honestly, I want to feel useful and just jump right in. Honestly, get my hands dirty.
Well, that's good. I like to hear that, Hoff. He'll say, "Listen, I'm not a company man, but I am the son of a bitch that'll be on your ass if you don't meet quota. Part of my bonus depends on you, and we've been coming up short recently. So if you miss, there'll be hell to pay."
Well, I'm here to make me money and here to hopefully make you your money and some bonus on top of that. No worries there.
So is that the only reason why you're out here yourself? Got no one back home that you'll be sending money that you're earning for?
No, flying and traveling solo, there, sir.
In my experience, if you got nothing that you're digging for, you burn out quick, son.
Well, stuff I'm digging is not to provide for anyone but myself. I got no one, and that's the way. I honestly just that's the way it is. That's the way it always has been, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. I like the solitude.
He'll not. He'll accept that. Although you do detect, a bit of there's a bit of a concern. Solitary diggers. And again, if you, in your own experience, you do know that it's a hard job, and it can wear on you. So we will switch back to to Alexander Marshall as you arrive in the commander's office. So this is Commander Artemis Orion. Drag you over here. Connie will she just kind of escorts you to the door, but she waits outside. Did you want to say any parting words to her before she leaves? Alexander?
I'll just I'll give her a nod and I'll say, I look forward to working with you. I'll step through.
She'll nod, but she won't say anything, and she'll return to the command center. When you walk in, you can see Commander Orion, or Director Orion. He's going through some paperwork, some actual physical papers. You can see it's your service record, and he has it kind of spread out onto the desk. And he walks over, extends a hand, gives you a firm shake, and he's like, "I've reviewed your record, but in my experience, you can't judge someone based on what's in their file. You need to work with them to know whether they're someone you can trust. Do you have children, Commander?"
That's understandable, Commander Ryan. No, I don't have any children, although I consider the.
Well, I want you to think of this facility as my child, and I'm not just going to let you babysit until I've gotten the measure of you. Understand?
Fair enough. And how long have you've been rearing this facility for?
Since before you were born. He get kind of an exaggeration, but he says, "I've been helming this place almost since its inception. So I know the company wants me to retire, and I know they're looking for people to take my place. Let's just say I'll have a say in that. So right now, it's not you. It's important, Commander, to be seen. So I don't want to see you sitting around your office or the command center. If you think I'm a hard case, wait till you meet the diggers. You're going to need to earn their respect."
Of course. That's understandable. Speaking to the, I guess your support of my position, uh, I do have to ask. Uh, I'm curious as to the appointment of my position and why it was externally sourced as opposed to uh, internally. Is there a lack of senior staff that could have taken the XO position?
We're on the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of human space. Most of the people out here are from the colonies. You know why you were chosen, Commander. Political reasons. Frankly, I think the decision was a mistake. I expect you to prove me wrong.
And do I know either from my own knowledge or just from looking at him, is this a colony-born individual? Is he an Earther as well?
He's actually an Earther. But probably the general sentiment. Yeah, I mean, he is getting up there in years. So obviously, a handoff or a transition is inevitable or coming soon. So, so that might have gone to Connery, but it went to you instead. So you're kind of being groomed to replace him.
Oh, fair enough. Is there any precedent issues or troubled individuals that I should be aware of before I start?
Nope, just get a feel for the place. I've asked Mr. Foster, the head of security, to give the new security officer a tour of the station. For now, I think it's wise that you join them. Uh, until you've earned people's respect, you should have a security escort.
That's understandable. What are the numbers of individuals on the station?
He'll say that there's probably about, including digger crews, probably about 3,000.
Okay.
What size of an aircraft carrier? Yeah.
All right.
So with that, he kind of turns his attention back to his papers. So unless you have anything else that you wish to do, you can. Unless anything else you wish to say, you can depart.
No, I'll nod. I'll fold my hands behind my back, and I'll head out to the head of security for that tour.
So I want to remind all of the players that so FCC. So you are all aware of the potential threat from the colonial separatists. So you all have a secure comm that's just between your group. So the actual station can't monitor it. It's scrambled. And in the case of you're kind of expected to rely on each other if you need to, and maybe check in. So I just want to remind you that is available. So we'll switch to we'll actually go to security. So we'll switch to you, Cameron.
Yeah.
You can arrive at this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I've requested to review the kind of tactical blueprints, like the layout of the station, and understand the defensive capabilities and potential risky spots.
Yeah, I mean, you can give me. So you could have reviewed that prior to getting here. I would say that it's really kind of slack, and not because of not through laziness. It really just hasn't been necessary. Essentially, the security office here, they primarily deal with disorderly diggers, might have had too much to drink, or the occasional fight. I mean, there really hasn't been any serious incidents on this station, so it is fairly slack.
I ask my second in command, Brielle. Is that her name?
Yeah. Yeah.
I asked her what our capabilities are in terms of armaments and staff and all that.
Well, she will comment on. I'll actually drag you over here to a page where Essentially, she'll comment on, well, standard sidearms, sir. We have stun guns, shotguns, assault rifles, all typical. Not usually; those are typically on lockdown. Officers would only have a sidearm and a stun gun. Flamethrowers in the mines for rats, and of course, there's the mining lasers, sir.
I guess at my earliest convenience, I attach the sidearm and stun gun to my belt.
Yeah. So if you remember, Foster handed you his, so you actually have a
Right.
sidearm on.
Yep.
And so you can walk into the security office. As you do, you'll note there's an individual. You immediately can kind of tell there's officers. This isn't an officer. He's dressed like a digger. And there's an officer kind of has brought a tray over and he's pulling his personal items out of it, suggesting that he is just getting out of incarceration or he may have spent time in the brig. But he'll kind of turn around and immediately kind of lock eyes with you. He sees, I mean, you're still smoking. Again, that's it's funny. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that your character was smoking cigarettes, but it does have a way of disarming people. But he'll walk up and he goes, "So you're the new sheriff in town?"
Indeed, I am.
My name's Kent. You didn't ask me, but I'll give you a piece of advice. If you don't earn the respect of the diggers, this place will chew you up and spit you out. And the diggers don't respect anyone without my say-so. I don't know why Foster got all bent out of shape yesterday, but he crossed the line. I expect you to stay out of my business, Sheriff. And he'll brush past you, and despite the fact that you seem kind of cool with the cigar, he's going to shoulder you, like shoulder your shoulder as he goes past.
I'm going to say, look, you and the rest of the diggers have my respect until you lose it. And I'd like to roll to intimidate.
Okay, go ahead. Give me a roll.
So that's a success, but not a critical success. I just
so he goes to shoulder you, but when he sees the look in your eyes, he kind of almost loses balance a bit as he corrects to avoid it, and he'll just kind of nod and hurriedly make his way out of there. Brielle will gives kind of a smile and a nod, and she says, "We arrested him for possessing spikes. They're a narcotic that a lot of diggers use to increase their productivity. Technically illegal, but it's understood that we look the other way because of the boost to profits." Kent's always been connected to the distribution of spikes and other black market stuff. I don't know. Foster went off yesterday and he had us do a surprise search. We picked him up enough for a fine, but not enough for any serious charges.
So what is your take on it? Is this guy trouble, or is there just something going on between Foster and him?
He could be, sir. We've never raided them before. I think Foster was just acting out, in my opinion, sir. We typically overlook spikes. How does McAllister feel about that? So the company basically saying this increases productivity, so look the other way.
I'm not going to get overly moralistic on these people, to be honest. Maintaining order and keeping things running is keeping these sympathizers at bay are my priorities. So I kind of just nod and shrug. And I comment, what is your take on the security posture of this station? It looks honestly a little laxer than I expected, considering what's at stake here.
Well, we can definitely do a review, sir. I agree. We've gotten a bit comfortable. Uh, perhaps, uh, perhaps we can meet and share some ideas. I have a few.
That would be great. Why don't we meet at 900 hours tomorrow and talk on this?
Sure. The word came down from Director Orion that he wants the XO to join us for the full tour. Foster was supposed to be the escort, but it'll be me that's showing you around. Is that all right with you?
That's fine. Alex he's a good man. I've worked with him before.
Good to know, sir. And she will. I just need to grab a few things, and then we'll start. So she'll leave. Just leave you kind of sitting there waiting. You can do some brief introductions to the security personnel, but is there anything else that you wanted to do before we switch to Dr. Bell?
No, I'm gonna review the security blueprints and such. I didn't really
Okay.
go over them that carefully on the.
There is an armory here. So there is a master armory, but there is an armory here, and the armory here would have things like shotguns and maybe a couple of assault rifles. But you can tell from the looks. You can tell from the looks of it. I mean, it probably hasn't been opened in years. There's a little bit of dust, even collecting dust on it. Even as you're kind of looking around the room, instead of looking at some monitors, a few of the guards they're sitting there just talking about some sports game that they watched last night. Everybody seems to be pretty casual.
I grab one of the rifles and
Out of the locker? Yeah.
out of the locker.
Yeah.
And
You don't think it smells of grease? You don't think it's ever been fired?
I take it out and amongst where the people are kind of slacking off, and
Yep.
I just stand in the middle of the room and start disassembling it and doing some maintenance on it.
The conversation eventually fades away to nothing, and soon you realize that all eyes are on you.
I kind of just say sarcastically, I'm just showing you all how maintenance should be done on the armaments. It appears you haven't been trained, seeing the state of that armory.
They'll look they'll look at each other, and one of them will actually get out of their seat and will go forward, grab an assault rifle out of it, and they'll basically start handing them out, and the whole team will start to kind of strip and clean them. Boy, that perhaps an inspection or an inspection and cleaning is overdue, sir. They'll say.
And I kind of smile at them and applaud their efforts. Kind of not
Eh.
not exuberantly, but I kind of just nod and.
Okay, so they appear to be very anxious to please you. So you're expecting the commander at any time, but we will switch to Dr. Bell. And as Mia is escorting you to the lab, do you have any skill related to observing or picking up on things? Perry?
Yep, sorry. Yes, it's
Yeah.
the highest one, biological and cognitive observation.
All right, give me a roll, please.
All right. But not a critical, but it is a success.
Okay. You will know. You'll note, like you've seen a crew member. You recognize him from the hangar, and now you see him again, and he appears to be following you and Mia. but you will reach secure. You are approaching the security doors to the lab.
How close is this? Like following within earshot, or
Yeah, within like one turn, one turn behind you, right? So basically, uh, as you're walking down a hall, they'll wait, and then when you turn a corner, they'll kind of move and then turn a corner. So they're just kind of following you, but you've now reached the lab door. So they would be like maybe 30 feet away, so you could yell to them, but around the corner, and you would have spotted them just kind of peek around the corner.
yeah, he thinks that's a bit weird, but he's gonna turn around and say, "Oh, hello, my name's Dr. Bell. I'm one of the new scientists. Nice to meet you."
You just yell that out.
Yes.
About 30 feet. You don't see any sign of them. In fact, you can probably hear footsteps moving away in the opposite direction. Mia turns around. She's surprised. She thinks you're just introducing. She's not introducing yourself to her again or something. She's like, "Oh, what? Is there someone here?"
There was.
Oh,
I don't know if they were coming to the lab as well or just going the same way, but there was somebody walking behind us.
She just appears to. She just doesn't even think about it. And she escorts you, and she opens the door, uses her pass card, and you enter a pretty sophisticated lab. So you're pretty impressed by the equipment that you see. As you enter, you'll notice a gentleman. You know from probably his reputation and from the files that it's Dr. Ethan Sinclair. So that is Dr. Emma Sinclair, who has been absorbed by the creature. That's her husband. He kind of sees you from across the lab, but he's obviously, you can see he's standing beside this glass kind of wall. Behind it is Emma. They were obviously having a conversation, but when he sees you, he just kind of nods and he just moves towards his office. And you can give me another observation roll, please. Or your main skill.
Mm-hmm. A regular success.
Nice. Yep. So that's a success. So you notice that he reaches out with his hand and he touches the glass just before he turns and leaves. And the woman on the other side of the glass, she touches it on her side. It's definitely an affectionate gesture. But he goes and walks into his office without really coming over to introduce himself. And Mia. She just kind of guides you into a secondary office where you will be working. And as you're walking, the woman behind the glass will be staring at you.
I think Dr. Bell stares back. He knew that it. Has he seen pictures of Dr. Emma Sinclair before?
Yeah, you probably be very familiar with her work. She's a renowned xenobiologist, so you would be very familiar. They may have even met her before.
Yeah, I think they probably ran into each other at a conference a few times. Yeah, I think he just stares back. He knew objectively this thing looked like a perfect copy, but wow.
Yeah, she smiles. She'll smile, give you a smile. And you can follow Mia into the office. When you do, you'll see a device or a canister sitting on kind of an examination table. And Mia takes a big breath when she sees it. And she's like, you'll probably be interested in that. It just came in from ICC. It's failsafe they want us to install. It actually sounds like they might have built on your work, she'll say. It contains an airborne bacteria, genetically engineered to consume organic material. If there's no organic material to consume, it consumes itself. Brilliant, really. So,
That
anyway.
seems wildly dangerous to have. All organic material?
Yes, she'll say. There's a technician coming in to install it. We're not installing it here. It's being installed so that the cell can be flushed if needed.
Understood. Though I hope the
Anyway,
fail-safe has a
you can tell.
fail-safe.
You can tell she's like anyway, and you can tell that she doesn't like it at all.
Mhm.
But it's not her call. She sits down and she goes, "Well, why don't you go introduce yourself?"
Oh, yeah, of course. Is there anything I should know before we head in, or do you think it would be better for me to just go in cold?
She shrugs.
Cold it is.
This is unknown territory, she says.
Understood. I think he takes out. I don't know if they would have paper in this universe, like a.
Yeah, sure. Yep, we'll say the
Yeah.
paper. We already said that Orion was using paper, so
Okay, yeah. I think he has like his own little notepad, so he gets that ready and a pen, and he walks up to the glass. Hello. I don't know.
So she'll actually say, since you've already established, I guess, as you established that you've met at a conference, she'll actually say, "It's good to see you again, Dr. Bell."
Yes, it is good to see you as well. Or, yeah. How are you doing today?
Please don't be uncomfortable. It's me, Dr. Sinclair. I know what you're probably thinking, and am I really? But I am. You see, as remarkable as this organism is, it's not by nature intelligent. I mean, normally it absorbs simple animals. It had never absorbed a human before. So its consciousness wasn't strong enough. I replaced it, Doctor. I'm in charge. I mean, I can still feel its presence, but my will dominates.
Well, I do hope you're correct, but please forgive me if I prefer to conduct tests. It's, as a fellow scientist, I'm sure you understand.
Of
Like,
course.
I can't simply go off your word.
Of course, Doctor. I would take the same position.
Mhm. So,
Can I
you said yes?
can I ask you, Doctor, what do you love most in the world or in the universe?
Why do you ask?
Because love is a very human. It is the most humanness of emotions. I feel it very strongly towards my husband, towards my work. I hope you can see that.
This is the first time I do not have enough evidence either way.
Of course, of course. And I also love what I've become. And I'm anxious to share this gift. It will reshape humanity's evolution. Can you imagine the possibilities, Doctor?
It is fascinating, but why? What what change? What do you mean in evolution? What changes have you noticed?
Complete control over your physiology. That's what I'm talking about. Can you imagine being masters of our own biology? I wish I could show you.
I
I wish you could experience this. She touches the glass.
I think he involuntarily it takes half a step backwards.
Okay, as in
Yeah.
out of fear, or how would you describe the emotion?
Just concern, like
Yeah,
as he doesn't believe this is really her.
I don't. And you can see the look of. There's actually this smile, kind of fades. because she's not pleased with your reaction. The fact that this involuntary step back. You can see she'll let her hands slide down the slide, pull away from the glass, and she just so this would be the equivalent of a stare down. She just stares directly at you, intently, unblinking. No smile, expressionless.
He does try to hold her gaze and says, I do apologize. That's unprofessional of me, but
So do you have any feat that would be related to willpower
willpower.
or composure?
No.
So you're going to roll. So basically, you're going to roll under everything else, which is 50. Which is 50. You want to roll 50% or less.
Got it. 12.
Oh, wow, nice. So
Alright.
not a critical, but yeah. So it's up to. So how you react is up to you. She doesn't intimidate you. You can stare back, unblinking. You can do whatever. You can hold her gaze. And in fact, she will even look. She will be the first to look away. She'll just kind of look down.
Yeah, he just goes into full work mode. It says,
Okay, so are you gonna go back to Maria's office or your office?
not quite yet. He wants to ask like one or two more questions if it,
Okay.
or this testing will be. I do have some. I thank you for talking to me so soon, Emma. I do have some ideas of tests I would like to run, with your permission, of course.
You need my permission?
No, but
Then
if
why
what you
ask?
say is true, I would prefer it. I mean,
And if I refuse?
I will try to do I will look into alternate tests.
We will do what you're ordered to, Doctor.
Yeah.
I understand that.
If this,
I'm tired.
yes.
I think I'll lay down.
All right. I will see you. We will talk later. Have a good night.
And she'll just kind of stare. And are you so where are you going? What are you doing now before I switch?
No, he just goes back into the office.
Okay. As you turn to go to the office, I am going to ask you to give me again your observation roll, please. Wow. That
Wow.
is a 16. That is a great roll. So the lighting in here, so there are lights in her cell kind of behind her. So there are shadows that are cast. So her shadow is actually cast on the equipment. So as you turn around and start to walk away, you suddenly see kind of around you a new shadow appears. It's a shadow of thrashing, writhing tentacles. It's a monstrous shape that kind of casts its shadow. And again, you're just looking at the shadow, but casts its shadow around you as you walk away. Since you made the roll, since you made a critical on the roll, what I will so normally what I was going to do is so what's your reaction to this? So we'll just save the critical, but what's your reaction when you suddenly see this shadow?
He jerks back and immediately whips around to see what it is.
So when you whip around, so because you made the critical, I'm going to give you a glimpse. Normally you would have just seen the shadow, but I'll give you a glimpse, but it lasts for only a second. So I will put it on roll 20 for a second, and then I'm going to delete it because you only see it for a second before basically all you see is Emma again. Oh, I got to make it bigger here.
I'm going to switch screens so I can actually see it.
All right. Shoot, Roll20s give me. There we go.
Oh,
All right. So you see her suddenly kind of, it's almost like she's split apart. Something is inside, and then it's just as quick, it's gone. She goes, I look forward to working with you, Doctor. And I will leave you think about that as we switch to Ryan. So Ryan, Donovan escorts you. You're actually going to go on a tour of the pit, where you'll meet the rest of the digger crew. Enter now. So as you're walking, do you want to give me so we don't, do you have any feat related to physical, like physical athletics or physical aptitude?
No, I think this would fall under everything else.
Yep. So give me a roll, please.
Just on the edge, 49.
Okay. You actually feel a coughing fit coming on. But you're able to, you have the equivalent of a puffer that you can just kind of take it and it kind of avoids an attack. But Donovan will he notices and he's like, so pick that up from the mines.
Yeah, I think so. It's just a medical device. Just give me a sec, please. It won't affect my it won't affect my ability to work at all. Just what's what? He gives a suck in on the puffer and takes a deep breath and hoarsely breathes out until coughs a few more times to.
How bad is it?
Whatever this stuff was, I got it at my last posting. The doctor there is shit doctors for the whole time, but I ain't going to die from it anytime soon. That's for sure.
I'll put in a word for you here. The docs here aren't half bad, but he'll just kind of nod, pat you on the shoulder, and you can get in the elevator that brings you down into the pit. And he'll bring you to it's kind of like a lunchroom or a break room type thing, where there's some of the crew is kind of hanging about. They all just kind of nod and shake hands, or they're kind of having coffee in between shifts. But I'll let you get acquainted. I gotta go check the schedule, says Donovan as he turns and kind of walks. He leaves you in and amongst the group. So Steph, she actually looks. She goes, so you got any experience mining aurorium?
Not aurorium particularly, but on other minerals. I've had my take and share of experience, but
Well,
that's
that.
Oh, go ahead.
Listen. You don't. We don't need your resume. We got you covered for your quota for the first few shifts until you catch on. But after that, you need to haul your own weight.
Hey, don't worry. I'm going to haul ass just as soon. Look at these hands. These have been in, not aurorium mines, but just kind of
Kent will step
on the shoulder.
She'll nod and give you a genuine smile. Kent will step forward. So that's this gentleman here, and he goes, all the same, we need to haul ass. We've been coming up short the last couple of weeks. Here's some spikes. Get you through your first few days. You want more after that? It's 10% off your shift pay.
Oh,
and he hands you spikes.
I can't. I just take them and look at them. It's like I can't take these with my condition. I'll just
condition. Everybody kind of looks at you, as
and I'll just have one more little coffin fit.
So they're a bit leery of they're a bit leery. So you know that I'm a digger really roll. But just as you can, we won't go through the details, but you can just kind of carouse with them for a bit. Give me that roll to set your crew at ease.
Yeah, I see now that I've kind of talked myself into a corner, so perfect time for a roll. 71, so I'm good there.
You're good.
You know,
So
yeah,
you
no,
know they were
yeah,
a bit concerned that you were going to be slow them down, but you convinced them. And as you're just kind of chit chatting, Frank, so this guy here, he comes out. So you colony born? And as soon as he says that, Elijah is like, "Damn it, Frank! Don't start with the politics. We're all diggers down here." He goes, "Hey, I just I'm curious. Earthers are known to have a hard time out here. They're born soft."
I've heard, I've heard that, I've heard of the old. I wasn't born on Earth. Have never visited, but yeah, no, colony through and through.
Well, he that Frank will kind of nod at that, sets him at ease, and you can tell. Actually, do you have any observation skill,
Uh,
like to notice, pick up on things?
yeah, no, I unfortunately did not pick that either. I would
Nope,
probably
no
fall
worries.
under
No worries.
everything
Well,
else.
you just remember you can be creative. So I leave it up to you guys to read one of your feats and figure out how to creatively apply it to the game.
Yeah, no, I think you're safe for just was it just like
Yeah,
kind
go
of
ahead,
like a
just give me a roll.
perception kind of thing?
Yeah,
I swear these everyone's dice are just working wonders.
that's
25.
awesome. I don't mind that. Yeah. Um, so you will note that Frank Tobin. So whereas other people did, so Donovan didn't seem to, even though he said he's colony born, he didn't treat you any differently. Steph is very genuine. Elijah obviously doesn't like talking politics, but you'll note that like Frank Tobin, there was a seriousness to him, and kind of after this exchange, Frank and Conrad Kent, they kind of share a glance, and they just kind of kind of a knowing glance at each other and just kind of nod that a little bit of relief that that you're not from Earth.
Yeah, no, I'll just say, once I see that, I'll just say, yeah, no, I've my last few postings, I didn't like it too well. There were some people that weren't too kindly to. They didn't like people who weren't colonists, and shit happened. A couple people got hurt. Fights and scuffles and stuff like that. I don't want any of that shit. I'm just here to make my money.
Appreciate that. And we're going to switch to the XO, who I just want to ask before you kind of arrive at the security office to go on the tour with supposedly Foster, but you'll be going with Harry. Is there anything that you wanted to do up on the command level?
I don't think so. Out of curiosity, this station is does Cerebos itself have a breathable atmosphere, or is everything in here self-contained?
Yeah, so the station is so it's not quite as bad as as you go outside and you'll die, but the atmosphere isn't great. They
Mhm.
have been using some terraforming uh facilities. They're not trying to terraform it, but they do have terraforming machinery on the planet just pumping out oxygen just to it's habitable, but it'd be like you'd be under some pretty good duress and you wouldn't want to stay out there for longer than maybe 10 or 20 minutes.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything else I wanted in the command level.
So you can head down to security where you can meet up with Harry. And you guys know each other, correct?
Yeah.
You go way back?
Yeah, we go way back.
I'll come in and say, Harry, how'd the flight here treat you?
Doing fine. Thanks, sir. I'm not necessarily used to formalities, but I mean the security staff are standing around, so I'm trying my best. Do we still have our the rifles out and cleaning them?
They're going through it. It'll probably take them. So they've taken over from you. I mean, they've started there. They're doing a bit of cleanup in the actual security office itself. So you've put them on a path, and they can take it from here. One of them will even mention, we'll have everything ship shape for when you get back for inspection, sir.
Would it be obvious to me on the schematics the level of security around the science area?
Yeah, so the science area security, it's restricted in the sense that it has a pretty solid door, it's a hermetically sealed door. It's would be key fob activated, so essentially science personnel would have access. Some maintenance technicians, anybody who gets access to the research lab, they'd have to go through additional background checks. But it wasn't designed for its current purpose. It's been repurposed. It was doing some other research primarily on aurorium, which now that research is concluded, it's been repurposed. So again, while it has some decent security, it's not the best that you've seen.
I ask Brielle probably just as Alex comes in. So they really need that level of security around the science area?
To be honest, we don't know a whole lot of what goes on in there. But we monitor comings and goings. In terms of the key, we issue the key fob access. But to be honest, sir, we're a bit blind on that part of the facility, and historically, they don't. FCC hasn't wanted us to really pay that much of attention to it. It's kind of its own thing.
I kind of look at Alex as he comes in. Do you know about this?
And do I know anything more about the research being done than Harry?
Well, so I would have shared that. So that document that I shared before the game that detailed. So that there's an alien species under research there, and you don't know the fine details of the research, but you do know that it has shape shifting abilities, and that it has absorbed one of the xenobiologists. It is contained, though. It is contained in a cell, and it has been contained for a couple of weeks, and it's cooperating. That's the other thing, which I guess is an important thing to note. So far, whatever it is has been cooperating.
Yep.
So Brielle is like, shall we begin the tour, sir?
Yeah. Please lead the way, Brielle. I don't know if we use ranks in this department.
It's up to you. She's probably like a lieutenant or something, but she just goes. A lot of times in these things, you might use last names or something like that. But she's. Do you want people to call you Harry? Is that how you go?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So lead the way, Brielle.
So you'll go through the facility. I'm actually going to fast forward a little bit to down in the pit. So as you guys come off kind of that large industrial elevator, you'll see the dig. It's a shift. People are working, going to and fro, and you can actually walk past there's a break area. As Brielle's pointing it out, you can actually spot you actually see Hofstaff there. So again, you would know that as I mentioned at the beginning, you're all kind of tasked with keeping your, to kind of trying to find out whether or not there is an actual risk to the facility from colonial separatists. So you know his record. You know that he's kind of your contact in with the diggers. And Hofstaff, you can see them as well, kind of going through getting the tour.
I'll wave over and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Over to you.
I kind of look at Alex and see if he seems inclined to stop in.
I'll just give you a nod, I guess, and
there's a scream. So yelling. People starting to a digger starting to run in this direction. Someone yells out, "It's Royce Baxter, he's lost it." What's everyone doing?
is he? Do we see everyone moving away or to? A
Yeah,
particular direction?
they're kind of running this direction. But in the digger crew that's here, so Hoff, the crew that's around you, they appear genuinely concerned. Like Steph is like Royce. Oh my!
Is he
And
part of
so
the
they're
squad?
while everybody else is running, their inclination is to move towards the commotion.
Yeah, I'll probably move towards the commotion if someone joins me.
Okay.
I do also, and I kind of bark to Brio. What's going on here?
I have no idea. She'll say, as you see a genuine look of concern on her face. So you can see. So as you make your way through the crowd, so a lot of the diggers, if anyone has any observation skills, you can give me a roll. Anything picking up details, noticing behavior, anything like that.
I have the keenly attentive.
Yeah, I have
feat.
something too. I have noticed a subtle difference.
So just give me a
places.
roll. Let me know if you succeed or do a critical success.
Regular success for me.
Okay.
I fail.
Okay. What about you, Hoff? Yeah, I know you said you don't necessarily have attentive stuff, but you can roll the 50% or less.
Yeah, I'm more looking at Frank. Like Steph seems generally concerned, but I'm going to take a look at Frank and Kent and just kind of keep my eye on them as we're kind of going through, because they mentioned, yeah, just to see what.
Okay, so no roll necessary. You'll note that both Kent and Frank exchanged glances, and they're slow to, while everybody else is kind of rushing forward, they're a bit more, there's less of a sense of urgency to them.
Okay, I'll go up behind them, but with both my hands, if they're like kind of close to each other, and I'll slap on their backs. It's like, camaraderie, guys, come on, we're diggers, got to stick together. And I'll do like the pat and try to like jolt them
prod them along. Yep, you can do that for sure. So as you rush forward, you can see a couple of people. See layer token. So you can see this gentleman, Royce Baxter. He is holding a mining laser. On the floor beside him is a gentleman who has like a corporate. So he's not wearing digger uniforms. You can tell from the type of uniform that he's a company man. And his leg has been sheared off at the knee by the mining laser. And he's holding the power pack for the laser, and Royce is pointing the laser at the power pack. Clearly, if he fires at the power pack and hits it with his mining laser, it will explode. Probably the equivalent of it's not going to threaten the mine, but it'd probably be the equivalent of a grenade going off. And you can hear Royce, "Son of a bitch, mark me as short again. That's 3 times this week. Now I'm gonna miss my goddamn bonus. There's no way I was short. No way. Company's trying to screw all of us." And he's now kind of yelling at there are diggers kind of gathered in your crew, so he's kind of yelling at them. Um, he goes, they're trying to screw all of us because we're colony. And you can see Todd, against the better judgment, will actually say, but you were, he's obviously in pain, but you were short, Royce. And that just kind of sets him off even more as he's like, shut up. I wasn't short. I just want what I'm owed. I want what I'm owed. I want my bonus. I want to go home. I'm done with this place. Get someone down here who can give me what I want.
So you say that he looks like he's pointing like a laser at kind of like an electrical system or something?
So basically how the lasers work, I'll just I'm going to drag you over just so you can see a visual. How the lasers work is that they are a backpack, which is the power pack, and then the laser itself. So he's not wearing the power pack. He basically looks like he took Todd Hutton's leg off, and now he's forcing Todd to hold the power pack, and then he's holding the laser. He's pointing it at the power pack, but as he's kind of yelling, it's waving around, right? Like he's obviously not. He's obviously behaving very irrational. His behavior is definitely not normal. But so he's waving it around. So I guess what I'm saying, he's not like really disciplined and always keeping the barrel of the laser on the pack, but that's his intent. If anyone tries anything, he's just going to blow himself and Hutton and anyone else around Sky High. So what do you do?
I'm going to try to get his attention once I kind of step up, and I'll look towards Harry, and I'll kind of nod towards him, and I'll intentionally try to kind of step away from Harry so that if I get Royce's eyesight, it's he won't be able to see Harry inside kind of his peripheral vision.
We want to kind of kind of distract him so he doesn't see Harry.
Yeah, or just move off to the side where it's
Yeah. So give me if you have a feat that would apply, give it a roll.
Yeah, I have persuade them to see things my way, or
yeah, that's
speech.
Listen, it's how you. It's up to you. If it makes sense to me that it applies, it makes sense. So
I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'm trying to slip around. I can roll
okay. You try to slip around, but Royce is going to see because it looks like that's a failed roll. However, I will throw out there.
That's my roll for distracting.
Alex. Yeah, Alex, if you want to use a luck die, you can. That's up to you. However, I warn you, if you roll a 1, that's basically a critical failure. Things go bad.
I will use a luck dice.
You are. So you're going to roll a die 6. You want to roll a 2 to a 6. If you roll a 1, it's bad.
Whew.
A 2. Yeah. So if you had rolled a 1, Royce probably would have opened fire at Harry, but you made it. So basically, he's focused on you enough that he doesn't notice Harry. But I am going to require Harry to make some type of, if you have any skill that would be appropriate for stealth or moving into position, I am going to require you to make a roll. I wouldn't have if Alex had completely succeeded. But do you want to give me that roll, Harry?
I have keeps his cool. Does that work?
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, this is definitely a tense situation. All right. Do you want to use a luck point?
Yes.
Okay. Roll the die 6, and I will ask Hoff. Oh, good. No die 6. So he doesn't see you. Hoff, what are you doing in all of this?
Well, I got a skill called I can make a weapon out of this. So I'm going to look for something nearby, maybe on the table, just to kind of jimmy rig together if it all goes to shit. To throw it at this,
give me a roll.
To throw it at this guy's head to not cause any more kind of mayhem. And just kind of see the reaction afterwards of who was it? Frank and Conrad. So this one is going to make under 55. 44.
You see a fire extinguisher. It's actually it's a kind of a super version of the extinguishers that you would see today, in the sense that it can fire like a 20-foot plume of fire retardant material. Is that useful?
All right, perfect. I'll take that, even though I know it, can it expel things. I just kind of want to use it as a projectile. Just aim it right.
Oh, yeah. And if you
Give it
were
a
just
throw.
looking for stuff to throw, there's like a wrench. There's like a tool area. So any tool that you can imagine that you would picture in a mine, you can find there. So there's the fire extinguisher, but other things. So basically, your successful role is to give you access to that tool area.
Cool. Yeah. So I'll just stay back and see to see what happens. And if I see that he's on the verge of like blowing something up, I don't care if he blows someone else up, but if he tries to hit something that'll blow me up, I'll care a little bit more.
Both Conrad and Frank are leaving. I'll just leave that with you.
Okay.
Okay. So Royce, he doesn't see you. Harry. He's focused on Alex, and he kind of like his eyes. He kind of focuses. Are you wearing like a uniform?
Hmm.
He goes,
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's kind of slowly piecing it together that you might be someone important, and he goes, "Yeah, you're an officer. I want my money, and I want on that ship."
All right, Mr. Baxter. My name's Executive Officer Alexander. I hear what you're saying. I'm new here. I want to make sure I understand what's happening, but if you don't want to be here, no one has to be here if they don't want to. What?
I wasn't short. Tell him I wasn't short.
Todd, I think a mistake might have been made. Let's reevaluate it. But I think in the meantime, we should put down the weapons. It's going to make it easier for us to clear everything up and make sure that everyone can see that you indeed weren't short.
No, it's too far. This is typical Earth bullshit. I mean, no, it's gone too far. I mean, you're gonna throw me in prison.
If you don't want to put down the weapon, point it at me. Don't point it at the pack. We're here to talk. What do you want? What can I give you? How can I help you?
He'll point the weapon at you.
Right.
And you can tell he's trying to think, but he's having a really hard time. His mind is racing. And I'm going to say that you probably at least Harry, because you have got some information earlier. You realize this guy is spiking. He must have taken some spikes for a shift. Like he's not behaving rationally.
I try to disarm him. Am I behind him now?
So you're in position. Alex has his attention. So what we'll do just before I get you to make a roll, I'm going to get you both to make a roll. So Alex, you're going to make a roll to basically keep his attention on you, and then that will open the opportunity for Harry to basically make a run at him.
Excellent.
But before we make that roll, I'm just going to switch back to the lab to Dr. Bell. So Perry, just momentarily. So basically, once you're, so when you get into the office with Mia, you've had this kind of encounter with Emma. She'll, she's like, so listen, we're going to have to clear out of the office for a couple of hours. technicians are going to be installing this. She points. Maybe do you want to meet for dinner later?
What? Oh, yes. Yes, I think
Are
that
you all
would be.
right? You seem distracted.
Uh, have you noticed anything anomalous in her appearance?
She appears to be confused by the question. No.
Do you know what the entity, Dr. Sinclair, or at least the entity, claims to be able to have perfect control over her biological form? Have you noticed any evidence of this?
I've really been collating data. Dr. Sinclair has been the lead on this, but yes. I mean, the organism perfectly mimicked her, she'll say, if that's what you mean.
I Any further changes, though, not just to look like Dr. Sinclair.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. Could she take on another form? Um, Possibly. We'll have to add that to the list. Uh, anyway, we do have to clear out the lab, Doctor. If you will join. Are you interested in dinner later?
Sure, will the other Dr. Sinclair be there? I think it'd be. I think I would like to speak to him today.
I'll extend the invitation, of course. He's just preoccupied with a few things, but he'll talk to you shortly. And she
Good.
will. And she will. You kind of leave the lab. As you can see, a technician is arriving. He's going to install that canister, and she'll kind of walk you to where the quarters are, and she'll say, "Anyway, I look forward to talking further. I'm really happy you're here, Doctor. I'll see you. I'll see you later."
I'll see you
And
later as well. Thank you.
and she
It's,
departs. And as you're walking well, where are you going? Would you go to your quarters, or would you just kind of walk around?
I think he's going to try. Is there a way to like linger in the doorway and watch?
You
Uh,
can't watch
Emma.
you can't watch what's happening inside because they
Okay.
don't want people to be walking by and seeing in. You can linger around the doorway, but there's no visibility to what's going on inside.
Okay. Well, in that case, yeah, he's probably just gonna go to his quarters. He hasn't unpacked.
Okay. So
Anything.
as you're walking, you again get the distinct impression that you're being followed.
How shiny are the corridors? Is there a way that he could like look behind him without being obvious about it?
I did kind of say it was a bit dingy. However,
Yeah.
I mean, you could duck. There's all kinds of little alcoves. Like picture this as being very industrial and a lot of nooks and crannies and hiding spots. So you could kind of duck into a little alcove, wait for the person to kind of they think they want to kind of catch up to you, and then kind of pop out and surprise them.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, I'm not going to require a roll for that. The person who's following you isn't, they're not a professional. They're kind of an amateur on it. So as you kind of jump out, he'll jump back. So I'll just show his picture there and roll 20, and he'll actually kind of scream like oh my god. I'm sorry. You scared me. Is all.
Before I say
Uh,
anything, is this the same person who was following me before?
It is.
Okay.
Yep. Because I'm sorry. I didn't.
I
I
apologize.
wasn't following you. I wasn't following you. Well, I was. I guess. James. My name's James. I'm sorry. I'm just nervous because I'm not supposed to be talking to you.
I'm Dr. Bell, though I have a feeling you already know that. Why are you not supposed to be following me? I mean,
I
supposed to
was
be
a
talking to me.
I was a technician in the lab. I used to work
The lab.
there. I saw it. No, not what it's pretending to be. I saw what it really is. I tried to tell Dr. Sinclair, but when I did, he had me reassigned. All my security clearance has been revoked now, and I'm actually being shipped off station. But
I think we
someone's
should.
got to know. Someone's got to know.
Yes, but we shouldn't talk out in the hallway. Is there a side room we could duck into?
He nods, but as he does, Dr. Sinclair, Ethan Sinclair, comes around the corner and sees the two of you. He gasps, or James gasps, and Ethan is a Mr. Ward. You're not assigned to this work area. I was just welcoming Dr. Bell to the station.
Yes, I got a little bit lost and needed Mr. Ward's assistance.
Of course. Well, you're dismissed, Mr. Ward. He looks at you and then he just leaves. He's terrified. My apologies, Doctor. Mr. Ward used to work for me. Was reassigned for unprofessional conduct. I was wondering if you would care to talk. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself earlier.
I would love to. As Mr. Ward seemed to have a good head on his shoulders.
Mr. Ward, he looks genuinely kind of like he raises an eyebrow, like, why are we talking about Mr. Ward kind of like thing. I mean, we have other things to talk about. So he'll actually take you to kind of like a private kind of lounge area, it's like an off-duty area for people with certain security clearance. But he'll pour you a drink. Maybe actually, you know what? He probably has a nice little lounge off of his own quarters. He'll pour you a drink, and he goes, "I wouldn't concern myself with Mr. Ward. Like I said, he's been suspended and he's been prone to exaggerating things."
As a scientist, I prefer to make my own observations.
Of course. Well, of course, I expect nothing less, but I do hope that in the coming days and weeks you'll come to realize what I realized, that inside that cell is a remarkable human woman, that we should be taking steps to see her released and to work with her to unlock the next phase of our evolution.
As I said, I prefer to make observations for myself. Dr. Sinclair, there are many, many organisms back on Earth that have, over millions of years, have evolved to purposely mimic other organisms. Are you completely certain? How can you be certain this is not what's happening?
Because I am, Doctor.
It looks like your wife,
know,
Ethan.
Yes. And I know my wife.
Regardless, you don't think that your own emotions have been clouding your judgment?
I am very clear on this, and I hope that you are not as narrow-minded as the bureaucrats at ICC.
No,
now,
I haven't.
They see her as something that is to be dissected or repurposed into a bioweapon. I will not allow that to happen, Doctor. We need to demonstrate together as a team that this being humanity's first encounter with real sentient alien life, a life that has a right to exist.
That part I agree on. I have not had enough sufficient evidence either way as to regarding whether Emma is still in there.
Well, of course.
This is a new.
I
this
just
is a
do
new
hope
life
that you are an ally on this, Doctor, and a friend. He'll hold up his glass to clink.
Dr. Bell is going to is not going to clink it. He's going to say,
"Oh, he's not." Okay.
No, he's not. I am on the side of ethical science.
Of course. Well, We will have other opportunities to get to know each other's work, but I must ask that you don't speak with Mr. Ward again. His security clearance has been revoked. You understand, the optics of it would be unprofessional.
Of course.
And he will nod, and he'll take it with not clinking. He'll take a sip of his glass, and we will switch back for the final scene as we're almost out of time. So, Alex, give me a roll as you see as you're trying to distract Royce.
All right, I do have the feat. You will respect my authority. So,
Okay, give me a roll.
As
Critical.
he's oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Hoff, what are you doing?
I'm just I'm gonna sneak back and follow, or try to tail Frank and Conrad, but at the same time, just kind of like radio into Harry that I think I got a lead.
Okay, give me. Do you have any type of sneaky eavesdropping feat that would work?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay.
Probably falls under I know how to electronically cover my track, so maybe I'm just talking on the radio, just and with all the kind of screaming and hollering that's going around, it kind of falls under that, I think. And Alex, sorry to take away from the critical there. I'll be quiet after this.
No. I'll be back. So just give me your roll, and then we'll switch back to.
Oh, 92.
Sorry?
92.
Okay. All right. So we're going to end on you. We'll end on you, Ryan, but we'll resolve this. So, you got a critical. So, you can see Royce. He's doesn't see anything. He's tunnel vision. He's looking at you, and he's starting. I'm going to say the tip of the laser, mining laser. He's kind of dropped it, so it's not directly at you, which will, because of your great roll, there's not going to be any chance that it accidentally goes off and disintegrates you, which is a good thing. Sometimes in this game, outside of the luck die, there is a skull die, so it basically means randomly I might say, hey, roll the skull die. And if you roll the skull, bad things happen, but you're not going to get the skull because of the critical. So Harry, you want to make your roll. Any feat that's appropriate for tackling. I am going to give you a situational bonus because he's distracted. So I'm going to get whatever you're rolling, I'm going to give you plus 10%. So increase it by 10%.
But I want it to be lower, right? So I'm increasing the
Yeah.
odds by
So
10%.
whatever your skill is, it's 10% higher. Yeah.
Okay. So it'll be 60 instead of 50. I don't really have a skill for
You don't have a combat skill? Okay.
Not hand to hand, no.
Okay. Oh, nice. So you leap forward, and you've got a hold of Royce. We will roll the skull die to see if the mining laser goes off, but it's no chance that it hits Alex. So somebody, you can't, Cameron, you might as well roll that. Roll the die 6. Yep. You don't want a 1. Okay.
Sweet.
Glad I rolled
All right.
Oops.
Okay. Unfortunately, could you roll me any dice? I'm just going to go odd or even here. Oh, sorry, Cameron. Do you want to roll? Just roll me any die.
I rolled a d6.
Came up as a 3.
A 3?
Yeah, I rolled a 3.
Okay. So it's odd. So no named NPC is going to get taken out by this laser, but an unnamed, so some no name digger who's kind of standing there. They lose an arm when the laser goes off. They cry out and collapse backwards onto the ground. But you've got Royce on the ground and he's screaming. He's strong. He's trying to put up a fight. What's everybody else do? So he's momentarily contained. Brielle, She's rushing forward. In fact, a lot of the other diggers are rushing forward to help. What's Alex doing?
Yeah, I mean, so if there are other people like equally close to me,
Yep.
I'll just try to kind of use my action or my time to try to kind of like, break the bystander effect. Like as soon as like he's on the ground, I say, I'm calling all the miners, as I mentioned, they're physically stronger than me. If I was closer for whatever reason, which is possible, I was kind of
Yep.
trying to get his attention. Then if I think like there's a chance I get there before the miners,
You are. So if you wanted to, you are the closest. So if you wanted to, you could rush forward, or you could let them kind of take it from there.
Do I um do I know if this mining laser could I unplug it from its power supply?
Yeah, you
Like,
could. Yeah, easy. Yep.
all right,
No, in
so
fact, there's probably a quick safety release,
Mhm.
so you don't even have to make a roll. If you want to do that, you can do that.
yeah, so all the wrestling, I'm going to go and
Yep.
unplug the power supply.
So they all pin, and as they're pinning, Royce just starts saying over and over, "I wasn't short. I wasn't short." And what you'll note is that other diggers, one of them will go, "He wasn't short. He wasn't short," and they're all starting to kind of chime in and repeat his chant.
Oh, uh, oh boys. uh, I will. So I guess it doesn't look like that Hoff has him subdued at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah, yeah. He has
Right.
him subdued.
Right. I'll try to speak as loudly as I can over this course, and I'll say, "Everyone, look, I'm new here. I don't want to get in your way or tell you how to do things, but I understand that there's been a precedent of people being docked short when they shouldn't have been. And it seems that this history has caused tensions to build up and people to take extreme actions. I just want everyone to be aware that from now on, everyone will be properly accounted for their work. This is my guarantee to you." And I'm going to try to use
Go ahead.
my,
Give me a roll.
my "you will respect my authority" ability to try to calm down what seems to be a coming riot.
Do you want to use luck?
Yes. So I have a finite amount. Are those the action dice?
Yeah, the action dice. Yeah,
Right.
sorry. Yeah, they're called action dice. Sorry, they're called luck in another game, but yeah, make a roll.
Oh,
They will reset at the beginning of each session, so you
oh,
might as well roll it. Yeah,
yeah, and I actually have extra because I took that as one of my edges. So yeah, I'll do a
roll the
d6
die
then.
6, and if you roll a 1, you basically have your riot.
Yeah, mob balancing it apart. Seems fair. Well, it's been good playing, everyone. See you next week.
All right. So people start throwing stuff. Brielle, security forces arrive. Harry, you guys have a Royce, and like some medics are getting hot, but you just barely you basically get back onto the elevator, and you're just going to get out of there. And we're going to switch to, we're going to close off with Hoff. So you follow. You can hear kind of the commotion in the background, but you follow Kent and Frank. And Frank, so as you're coming up on them, Frank is like, "How many spikes did you give him, man?" He goes, "Just the usual." He goes, "They're going to investigate. They're going to find out that I shorted, I've been the one shorting them." And so when you hear him say that, so you failed your roll. Is that correct, Hoff?
With a glorious 92.
You can see that Kent suddenly with the commotion, all of a sudden you hear the uproar, like he wasn't short, people all yelling. Kent turns and he sees you standing there just when you're trying to move into position, and you know that he knows that you just heard what they said, and that's where and that's where we'll pick up next time because we're out of time. Awesome. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, players. That was great. So the next time things we kind of have laid the groundwork. Next time will be a bit of a roller coaster, I would imagine, as we kick things into high gear. So Ryan, I guess you want me to turn it over to you. I'm Ivan Phzoul. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you'll tune back in for the finale. So Ryan, I guess I'll put it over to you, and you can.
Yeah, and no,
yeah.
no, that's great. Thank you. This has been the inaugural kind of stream for the Illusion of HorrorCon Presents. In this instance, Phzoul from the One Shot RPG system presenting The Things. This was part 1. Part 2 will be May 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here, right back on the Twitch channel. For those of you who weren't able to make it tonight, we plan on releasing these episodes on our YouTube channel about a week after. So around this time next Sunday, this will be available on our YouTube for you to view anytime. And I'd like to thank Phzoul, Cameron, Perry, and Yarnage for joining us here tonight. And thank you for everyone who was out in Twitch land. And we're hoping you enjoyed the evening. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.